The night began with a silence no ballpark had ever heard before. A silence thick enough to feel, as if the entire world was holding its breath for something impossible. Nobody knew why the cameras zoomed in early. Nobody understood why the lights dimmed slower than usual. And nobody expected the announcement that would shake baseball history to its core: two titans, two legends, two forces of nature, crowned together. Because this year, the Hank Aaron Award didn't feel like an award at all. It felt like a collision of destiny. Long before the applause, before the photos, before the speeches, there was a story. A story of two men walking two different paths that somehow ended at the same destination, at the top of the baseball world. Shohei Ohtani arrived with the calmness of a storm hiding behind the horizon. You could never tell if he was tired, nervous, or ready to break the world again. His eyes carried the same quiet fire that had terrified pitchers for years. Aaron Judge, on the other hand, walked in like a mountain in motion. Shoulders squared, presence heavy, every step echoing like a drumbeat. He was impossible to miss, both literally and symbolically. But the award wasn't given for size. It wasn't given for fame. It wasn't even given for excellence alone. It was given for dominance. For rewriting the rules of what a hitter can be. For turning stadiums into theaters where every swing might become a masterpiece. All season, fans debated who deserved it more. One coast said Ohtani. The other said Judge. The rest of the world said it didn't matter, they were witnessing greatness from two different galaxies. Ohtani had played like a man who carried the weight of expectations in one hand and shattered them with the other. Every at-bat looked like a calculated war. Every home run felt like science and art shaking hands. Judge played like a warrior carved from thunder. When he hit a baseball, it didn't travel, it fled. Entire ballparks watched in awe, knowing no fence was tall enough to contain him. But what people didn't see was the part that mattered most: the nights when both men trained alone. When reporters were gone. When crowds were asleep. When their bodies begged for rest but their hearts demanded more. Those nights built champions. Those nights built legends. And tonight, those nights were finally being honored. When the announcer stepped to the podium, the energy shifted. Fans leaned forward. Phones lifted. Even the players backstage froze. A voice rang out, steady and historic. Your 2025 Hank Aaron Award recipients, Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. For a moment, time didn't move. Then the world erupted. Some cheered for Ohtani, the phenomenon, the unicorn, the global icon whose swing made physics blush. Some roared for Judge, the captain, the giant, the heartbeat of New York's baseball soul. But everyone celebrated the moment. Ohtani smiled, the kind of smile that only appears when a dream you once whispered to yourself becomes real. It was soft, humble, and full of gratitude for the journey no one else truly understood. Judge exhaled, and for the first time all night, he looked human. You could almost feel the weight lifting off his shoulders, the weight of carrying a franchise, a fanbase, a city that demands nothing but greatness. When they stood together on the stage, it didn't feel like two superstars posing for a photo. It felt like a torch being shared. Two men, two cultures, two stories, but one standard of excellence. As the crowd settled, Ohtani spoke first. His voice was quiet, but every word struck like lightning. He didn't thank numbers or awards. He thanked moments, moments that shaped him, moments that broke him, moments that forced him to rise. Judge followed with a voice that boomed from the heart. He didn't talk about home runs. He talked about responsibility, about the privilege of wearing a uniform that millions dream of wearing. About the fire that burns in every kid who ever picked up a bat. And something strange happened as they talked. The room wasn't divided anymore. It wasn't Ohtani fans on one side and Judge fans on the other. Everyone felt united, brought together by two athletes who didn't compete for attention, but elevated the game itself. Because awards fade, trophies rust, records eventually fall, but nights like this, they don't die, they become stories passed down long after the stadium's empty and the voices fade. They become reminders of what is possible when talent meets discipline, when pressure meets courage, when greatness refuses to apologize for being great. When the ceremony ended, Ohtani and Judge exchanged a look, not of rivalry, but of respect. The kind of respect only two warriors can understand. Two men who climbed different mountains but reached the same peak. And for a brief moment, the world saw baseball not as a game between teams, but as a masterpiece painted by legends. As they walked off the stage, the cameras captured something rare. Ohtani looked back at the crowd, just for a second, as if trying to memorize it. Judge adjusted his suit and exhaled deeply, like a man who knew his story wasn't finished. Because this award wasn't an ending. It was a beginning, a new chapter in a rivalry that isn't built on hate, but on the relentless pursuit of excellence. A chapter where the sport isn't carried by one superstar, but by two. Two giants, two stories, two legacies. And years from now, when fans sit down to talk about baseball's greatest age, they'll talk about this night. The night when the world stopped, listened, and witnessed two modern legends crowned side by side. This wasn't just an award ceremony. It was a reminder. Greatness doesn't happen often, but when it does, you feel it. And tonight, everyone felt it. Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, 2025 Hank Aaron Award champions. Two names, one unforgettable night, and a legacy baseball will echo for generations.